Hey friends, welcome back to the channel and happy New Year's Eve if you are watching this on the day that it is being uploaded. It is New Year's Eve today and I think we are all happy to see the back end of 2021. It was a hell of a year and I actually took an unscheduled break in December for a few weeks. I did post on the community tab that I was going to be taking a break until at least December the 26th. And when the 26th rolled around, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take off a little bit more time. I was dealing with some health things that had come up and both of our dogs needed to have procedures done. It was just a complete mess. So this video is a little bit late. So this is the video that I was going to post on Boxing Day. So this is my YULE haul. So this is everything that I got for YULE this year and I wanted to share it with you guys. Everything is, well, mostly everything is dark aesthetic. There's some witchy things in here, tons and tons of books and some other goodies as well. So if you don't enjoy these types of videos because you think it's kind of show-offy, totally get it. You know, you can skip this one and there will be a new video up tomorrow. So the first thing was I am going to be starting a reading journal in 2022. So this is the journal that I got. It's from Yop and Tom. So I got this one off of Amazon because when I went on the Archer and Olive website, it was like $50 in just shipping. And all of the sites that I found in Canada that sold Archer and Olive were all sold out of the ones that I wanted. But I have to say I'm pretty pleased with this one. The pages are nice and thick and you know, I've done pen tests and everything in this. I've actually already started journaling, so there are going to be some journaling videos on the channel coming up, starting off with me showing you my journal setup, so that will be coming up in a couple of days. And to go along with this, I got a whole slew of stickers and washi tape and deco paper and all kinds of stuff. So I've been having a ton of fun putting together this journal, and I thought it's just a great way, you know, at the end of the year to look back at all of your star ratings and all of the books that you read and your thoughts and all of that kind of thing. And I had started a reading journal once before actually, but I ended up just not continuing with it because I think I was putting too much pressure on myself, because you see all of these wonderful bullet journaling channels and everybody has wonderful artistic abilities and everything, but at the end of the day it's supposed to be functional and I can't draw very well, so that's why I went out and got a bunch of stickers and washi tape and all kinds of things. So I've been having a ton of fun putting together this reading journal, and hopefully you guys will be looking forward to some journaling type videos and we can go through and record everything this year together. And the next thing that I got was just a little thing. So just got this on Amazon. It's just a little book light. So it has different hues and everything. There's a yellow light, there's a warm white light, there's a cool white light, and it's just USB chargeable. I did have a reading light once before, but it was battery operated and it was like so hard to try to get the battery out of there and find one that matched to put it back in, and it was a whole thing. So I was really happy to get this because I usually read on my Kindle in bed, but sometimes if I'm reading a physical book and I'm really into it and I don't want to put it down, I'll take it to bed with me. But with the way our overhead lights are, it casts a lot of shadows. So this will be really, really great for nights that I want to take a physical book to bed, which is not very often, but when I do, at least I'll have this now. So just a cheap little thing, more for convenience than anything. And next up is probably two of my only non-spooky items in this haul. So I got the Anne of Green Gables DVD and the sequel. So I owned these movies years ago on DVD, and this is why I don't loan things out anymore, because you just don't get them back. So same thing with books, movies, whatever. I have lost so many of my DVDs by lending them out to coworkers or to friends who never return them, and then they move away or you lose touch or whatever happens. So I am a sucker for these movies. I watched them over and over and over and over and over as a kid, and each one I think is like 4 hours long. So really excited to have these again. These are not cheap. I think just for one of them it's like $45 or $50, but they had a Black Friday sale and I ended up getting both of them for a reasonable price. So really happy to have these in the collection again. I will definitely be watching them in the new year, probably on a day that Matthew was out or gone to work, because I don't want to subject him to my silly period movies, but this is definitely a favorite, and I'm definitely not going to be lending these out because I don't want to lose them again. And then next up, I did hit up Killstar, of course, during their Black Friday sale, and I showed these on Instagram, but I haven't shown them on here yet. So I've got a new pair of sunglasses. Hopefully you can see that there. And they've got these wonderful snake details on the sides. I hope you guys can see that. So these are fantastic. They're really heavy duty and I love the shape of them. I actually haven't worn these out yet, but I was really excited to get these. I've had my eye on them for a while and they were having a massive sale. So they had 35% off, plus I had points from being a VIP. So I got like 50% off my order. So I got these and I got a bunch of clothing. This kind of turtleneck was included and a few other things. So if you would like to see a Killstar clothing haul, let me know and I can do a separate video for that. And then next up, I put in an order at my local Boogity Boogity store, and the first item that I got, I have a picture of this as well on my Instagram page, is this beautiful new skull. So I just love this, and I had a little bit of trouble trying to pick just one because they have a whole line of these. So this is the spirit board skull. So it has the letters and numbers on here from a spirit board. They've got like a mystic one, they've got a witchcraft, they've got a, I think a Norse one, they've got an Egyptian one. So I think over the next little while I would like to collect these, because the skulls that I have on my bookshelves now are fine, but they're just, you know, little $1 plastic ones from Walmart. So I was really happy to get a nice one, and this is absolutely gorgeous. So like I said, you have the letters and numbers on front, and then on one side is the moon, the other side has the sun, and it has this beautiful pentacle on the back. So these are really well made. It's made out of kind of like a resin, and I just love all of the detail. Like it has all of the kind of the stitch lines and stuff like that. So really happy to have him. So I've named this little one Caligula because I have an obsession with Roman emperors left over from my university days. I do have a bachelor's degree in ancient and medieval history, and a big part of that, of course, was learning about ancient Rome. So I think all of my skulls will probably have the names of Roman emperors, so he will definitely be taking his place up here on the shelves once I get everything reorganized. So absolutely love him. And then the other thing I got was a nice incense holder. So I usually just have the flat ones, and when you burn your incense on them, the ashes go everywhere. So these are really nice because it's like a coffin box, and they open up and your incense goes inside. It can hold all the ashes really well, and it has the ventilation holes in the top, and it has a little spot on the side where you can store your incense sticks as well. So it's just a small item, but I'm so happy to have it because my incense is just everywhere and the ash gets everywhere with just those flat ones. So really happy to have this, and I'll definitely be filling it up with some patchouli incense and keeping it on my work desk here. And the last item that I got from the Witchy store were these earrings. So I'll just take one out so you can see it a little bit better. So they're these really beautiful serpent earrings, these silver serpents, and they go beautifully with my new sunglasses. So after I got the sunglasses, I just had to get these, and they're a little bit of a different style than most of my other ones, which are the hooks that just kind of dangle, but these are the stud version, and they don't bother my ears at all. So I have a lot of problems with earrings. After I wear them, my earlobes are like thick and red and just swollen, and these don't bother my ears at all. So really happy with these, and definitely happy to be adding to my earring collection. So I have to get a little holder actually, because right now I'm just keeping them in a little ceramic cauldron, and I need to get somewhere a little bit better to display them so I can see everything that I have. And earrings is definitely something that I want to keep collecting and adding to, because, you know, they just keep coming out with awesome styles, and this is made by a Calgary company, so I was really happy to support not only a Calgary shop but also a Calgary jeweler, so that was awesome. So that's everything I got at the Witchy store. Okay, sorry if things look a little bit different, I just had to move some stuff around here. So the next thing is actually not a like YULE gift that I bought for myself. I actually got this from my friend Marissa at Spooky Sellables. I talk about her shop all the time, her shop on Etsy. I'll have it linked down below. So I think about a month ago or so, I was cleaning out my shelves and I had a whole crap ton of duplicates of vintage horror like Fear Street and stuff like that that I didn't need, because when you buy books like in lots, sometimes you do end up with duplicates in order to get the ones that you need. So I asked her if she would like me to send them so she could sell in her shop, and she said yes. And as a kind of trade, she sent me this creepy baby doll head, and it has like it's like a little terrarium with a fake succulent in the top, so there's some stones in the bottom here. And then you have your baby head, and she glows in the dark, and then this awesome succulent coming out of the top. And thank God it's artificial, because I can't grow things. My mom is the green witch. I am not whatsoever. So I just love it. It's such a cute idea, and I'd had my eye on one of these on her website for some time, so I was so happy that I could send her those books in a trade for this. I just think it's so cute, and I think I might want to get one of those little LED tea lights to put in so her eyes glow. I think that would be awesome. So I've named her Mildred after Mildred Kemp, who is a character in a horror movie that came out in the early 2000s. So I think she's adorable. She's gonna take her place up here on the shelves. I'm on my floor today, so that's probably why things look a little bit different. So when I have my regular camera angle, then you'll be able to see her in all of my videos. But she is just adorable, and Marissa has been such a doll to deal with this year. I've bought so many of her books, and you know, she goes out and does all the work for me basically, and I just buy them off of her. So that's fantastic. I'm so happy to have this little chickie, and like I said, maybe we'll get a little tea light so her eyes can light up and make things extra spooky around here. So that's enough of that. Let's get into the books that I got for YULE, and there are quite a few. So I will have all of the timestamps down below for physical books, ebooks, audiobooks, all of that kind of stuff, because I did amass quite a bit. These ones, the physical books that I got them off of Book Outlet. They were having quite a big sale, and I just stocked up on everything that I wanted. So a lot of these are YA and middle grade, and there's a lot of thrillers in here too. I think I was in a little bit of a mood when I got all of them, because there's a lot of thrillers, like I said, and I'm really excited for a lot of these. So first up, I've got 3 books in the Monsterstreet series. So I've seen these on several channels over on Instagram, and I've seen them a couple of times on Cameron Chaney's channel, and from what I can gather, they're really, really good and super, super cute. So from what I can gather, these are very much kind of like Goosebumps, kind of for a newer generation, and I don't think you have to read these in order. I think they're based on, you know, different people and different adventures in each book, like they're not sequels. So I have 3 of them. So we had the Halloweeners, which I'm super excited for, and the cover is just so cute, and I think it's just gonna have all of the spooky Halloween feels. And I love any kind of middle grade book that has to do with Halloween as well. It's just, you know, it just brings you back. So, and then there is Camp of No Return. So when I'm seeing this, I'm kind of thinking of Camp Jelly Jam from the Goosebumps series, which I read this past summer and really enjoyed it. And then there is The Boy Who Cried Werewolf, And this one is unfortunately in hardcover while the other two are paperback. So I didn't want to miss out because I think I got these for like $2 each. So I went ahead and got it. But if I can find a paperback of this one, I think I'd rather that, because I just rather have all of paperbacks, either paperbacks or hardcovers, one or the other, not a mix. So hopefully I can find this one in paperback eventually. So this series is by J.H. Reynolds, and they're super short. Like I said, they're middle grade. I find these books are so great if you just need a palate cleanser and something that's a really fun adventure, and you're just gonna have a great time reading it, especially if you've just read something that's a little bit more heavy, or like a true crime that's really hard to read. These are great to have on the shelves as palate cleansers, and I just love the adventure as well. I don't think I ever really grew up. I love watching kids movies, I love reading kids books, and I have no shame about it. I'm almost 40 years old and I don't care. I love kids books. So next up is The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert, and this sounds like such a great adventure, but it also has kind of fairy tales wound into this story. So here we follow a 17-year-old girl named Alice, and Alice and her mom have lived most of their life on the road, but Alice's grandmother dies in her grand estate, and her grandmother was the author of these fairy tales, this book of fairy tales. And then after her grandmother dies, strange things start to happen. So it says, Alice's mother is stolen away by a figure who claims to come from the cruel supernatural world where her grandmother's stories are set. Alice's only lead is the message her mother left behind: stay away from the Hazelwood. So I have book 1, and then book 2 is called The Night Country, and of course I'm not going to read the back because I don't want to spoil anything for myself. And then this is a companion book, so it's Tales from the Hinterland. So this apparently is the book of fairy tales that the series is kind of based around. So again, unfortunately, these two are in paperback. This one is in hardcover, but sometimes you got to put up with that when you don't pay full price for books. And this is a beautiful book. It's got the wonderful gold foiling on the front, and anything with kind of moons and stars and anything that sort of revolves around fairy tales, I love it. And this has beautiful illustrations on the inside as well. So really looking forward to this series. I had heard a little bit about it on BookTube, but in 2021 I was just in such a horror mood that I didn't read anything that was kind of fantasy or anything like that. So really happy to have these, and I'm looking forward to reading more fantasy and more adventurous stories in 2022. So the next 3 books that I got were by an author named T.A. Barron, and this is the Merlin series. So this is basically a new take on the Merlin story. So I haven't read the backs of these ones because I have book 2, book 3, and book 10. So I can't start this series yet. So I did look it up on Goodreads, and this is what it says. The saga begins. A raging sea tosses a boy upon the shores of ancient Wales. Left for dead, he has no memory, no name, and no home. But it is his determination to find out who he is, to learn the truth about his mysterious powers, that leads him to a strange and enchanted land. And it is there that he discovers that the fate of this land and his personal quest are strangely entwined. He is destined to become the greatest wizard of all time, known to all as Merlin. And it says, an extraordinary journey of mind, body, and spirit for both Merlin and ourselves. So again, I'm really excited to get into reading more fantasy this year, and I love Arthurian legend. Matthew and I watched Merlin on Netflix last year, and it was a great series. I really enjoyed it. So going to keep my eye out for the others in this series, and really hoping that this is going to fulfill my hankering for fantasy that I've apparently kind of stumbled into recently. But for now, I have book 2, book 3, and book 10. So the last series that I got, or I guess this is a duology, is The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh. And I'm a little bit skeptical because this is a YA fantasy, so we all know that I have a little bit of issue with YA fantasy, with it being kind of wrapped a little bit too much into romance. This one has to do with kind of serial murders, and it's also a vampire story as well. So I'm hoping that those two themes will kind of outweigh the romance that's in this, because I've had a real hankering not only for true crime but for vampire stories as well. And I mean, you can't beat the cover of this book. It's beautiful. I've heard kind of mediocre reviews, but since I did get these at such a good price, I went ahead and picked them up. So The Beautiful is the first book and The Damned is the second book, and they both have gorgeous covers. And this follows a 17-year-old girl who flees to New Orleans from Paris, and she kind of gets caught up in the whole New Orleans music and all of the underbelly and everything. And there's also, like I said, serial murders going on, and there's a vampire kind of angle to all of this. So don't know a whole lot other than that, and I kind of want to keep it that way because I don't want to have any kind of biases going into this, but really have high hopes for this one because I'm really looking for a good vampire story. So like I said, because I got both of these in hardcover at such a good price, I went ahead and picked them up. Hopefully they'll live up to what I'm expecting, but like I said, I still have a high level of skepticism for these ones, so we'll see how they go. So next up is The Ghost Tree by Christina Henry, and I've heard a lot of good things about this author this year. I do have another one by her that's kind of like a Peter Pan Captain Hook retelling, but I haven't read it yet. So this one is The Ghost Tree, and here we follow a girl named Lauren, and she lives in a place called Smith's Hollow. And where she lives, two girls have been found brutally murdered, and they've been completely ripped apart. And apparently years before, Lauren's father had also been killed and his heart had been removed. So there's this kind of murder mystery going on here, so we're seeing a bit of a theme with these books. And it says, so when Lauren has a vision of a monster dragging the remains of the girls through the woods, she knows she needs to do something to help, unlike the rest of Smith's Hollow. But as she draws closer to answers, she realizes that the foundation of her seemingly normal town might be rotten, and if nobody else stands for the missing, she will. So this sounds fantastic. Like I said, I've heard a lot of good things about this writer this year, so excited to get into this one. So next up is Only the Stars Know Her Name, Salem's Lost Story of Tituba's Daughter by Amanda Marone. So if you know anything about the witch trials, of course Tituba was one of the principal characters who was accused of witchcraft, and apparently this follows her daughter. So her daughter obviously has lost everything, and even the two girls that she grew up with were convicted of witchcraft. So she meets two other girls in the aftermath of all of the Salem witch trials, and these girls have also lost everything. So their parents had been convicted or killed or whatever, and their lives are in total upheaval. So it says, together the three form a coven, signing their names in a book of spells. But the magic they practice, at first new and exciting, turns dark and deadly. Will this black magic help Violet find her family, or will it be her undoing? This powerful historical story of family revenge and forgiveness is a can't-miss novel from Amanda Marone. So I actually haven't heard anything about this book, but I am obviously very well versed in the witch trials of the 17th century, so really looking forward to reading this. I'm hoping that it does have lots of historical fact in here, and yeah, so I'll let you guys know how this one goes. It's not a very long book, but if you do know anything about this one, leave me a comment down below and let me know. And next up on the list is Ghost by Gaslight, edited by Jack Dan and Nick Gervers. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. So this is stories of steampunk and supernatural suspense. So this is Gaslamp horror, basically. It's an anthology. And as soon as I saw this book, I thought about Alex from the Bookish Report. If you watch his channel, he does all sort of Gaslamp horror. So hoping this is going to be a really good anthology of kind of like Victorian horror and dark and gothic and all of the wonderful things. I haven't heard anybody else who has read this one either, so looking forward to it, and hopefully it'll live up to my expectations. So next up we have One of Us Is Next by Karen McManus. So this is the sequel to One of Us Is Lying, which I currently have on my TBR. I haven't read it yet. It is rolling over into January. So when I saw this one for a really good price on Book Outlet, I went ahead and picked it up. So if you don't know anything about the first book, it's basically kind of like the Breakfast Club, where this group of students is put into detention, and somewhere along the line one of the students ends up dead. So he's either killed or he's dropped dead and nobody knows anything. So sounds like a great thriller. I've heard some good things. I believe this is now a movie or a series on Netflix. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is. So really looking forward to reading the first one, and if I do enjoy the first one, then I've got the second one ready to go. So again, if you guys have heard anything about this and you enjoyed it, let me know down in the comments below. And then this one is also kind of a sequel. This is The Babysitter's Guide to Monster Hunting Beasts and Geeks by Joe Ballerini. So I have the first one of this series on the shelves here. Haven't read it yet, so I wanted to go ahead and pick up the other one because this looks like such a cute series. I haven't read the back because I don't want to ruin anything from the first book, but basically it's this girl who babysits, and I believe one of the kids that she's sitting gets kidnapped by an actual monster, and they have to go on this adventure to try to get the baby back. So very much like an Adventures in Babysitting sort of situation, and sounds like a super cute series. I'm not sure how many books are in this series, if it's just the 2 or if more are coming out. And I believe this is also either a show or a movie on Netflix as well. I just re-got my Netflix not long ago, so I'm kind of catching up on what's on there. But really hoping for a cute series, and I'm sure this is going to be a really sweet adventure. So next, I was really excited to get a copy of this book. This is book 1 in the Fright Watch series by Lauren Lawrence, The Stitchers. So I've heard a lot about this book through Instagram and on BookTube, so I was really excited to get this. So this is another sort of spooky middle grade adventure. So this follows a girl named Quinn. She's 13 years old, and she lives on a street that all of her neighbors are a little bit weird. They call them the oldies because they've lived on that street forever, for as long as anybody can remember, but none of them age. So they're not sure if they're demons or vampires or whatever. So Quinn and her friends are trying to figure out what's going on with these oldies, but the oldies are also onto them. So the back sounds really good. It says, "Sure enough, each neighbor's gaze follows us through their windows. Their eyes hollow like skeletons, their mouths twisted and open like they're screaming. I force myself to wave even though my arm feels heavy. Mike follows my lead and waves too. Even though he looks just as stiff as I feel, not one neighbor waves back." So not a very long book, but I was super excited to get this, and looking forward to reading more in this series and hoping it lives up to what everyone is saying. So next up we have Tiny Pretty Things by Sona Charaporta and Danielle Clayton. So this is kind of like a boarding school thriller, I would say, but it revolves around a ballet school. And if you know anything about dance and ballet, it can get a little bit kind of crazy with the competition. So you have girls that are trying to compete for certain places and all of that sort of thing. And it says on the back, how far is too far? So you have one girl that's living in the shadow of her sister, who is a principal ballerina. You have another girl named June, who is always tired of being the understudy. And the new girl, Gigi, is already outperforming every other dancer at the conservatory. But the very act of dancing could kill her. With the competition growing fiercer with every performance, and the harmless pranks growing ever darker, it's only a matter of time before one small spark ignites and everyone gets burned. So, sounds like a really, really good thriller to me. As you know, I'm all about boarding school kind of stories and that sort of thing, and I do have a love of dance and ballet, so this sounded really, really good to me. I haven't heard anybody else's opinions about this one, so hoping this one is going to be a cozy little thriller. So this is another one that's kind of like a boarding school thriller. It's called People Like Us by Dana Miele, or Miele. And so you have a girl that basically has a lot of skeletons in her closet, but whatever happened in the past, she's managed to reinvent herself, and now she's part of a really prestigious private school, and she is the star on her soccer team. But it says, when a girl's body is found in the lake, Kay's carefully constructed life begins to topple. The dead girl has left Kay a computer-coded scavenger hunt, which, as it unravels, begins to implicate suspect after suspect until Kay herself is in the crosshairs of a murder investigation. So again, sounds like a cozy little thriller set in a boarding school. I'm all for it. So this one is one that I had heard a little bit about on BookTube a while ago. It's called The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. So this is an award-winning book, and it is apparently supposed to be really, really beautiful. So here there's a town basically that sacrifices a baby every year to a witch in order to pacify her so that the witch won't kill them or won't cast spells on them. But little do they know that the witch is actually really kind and gentle, and she takes the babies and puts them with loving families in another town. And there's one baby one year who is sacrificed, and the witch accidentally feeds her moonlight, and she becomes, you know, this really powerful witch herself. And as she grows up, her powers start to develop, and the witch decides to keep this child and raise her as her own. As Luna's 13th birthday approaches, her magic begins to emerge with unpredictable consequences, just when it's time for Zan to go collect another child. Meanwhile, a young man is determined to free his people by killing the witch, and a volcano dormant for centuries rumbles within the earth. So I only heard a little bit about this book, but apparently it's supposed to be a really beautifully written book, and like I said, it has won an award. So witches, sacrificed babies, a town with all kinds of superstitions. Sounds pretty good to me. So I'm hoping to get this one pretty soon, because I had heard such good things. So I will let you guys know how this one goes. So you know what, I think I'm gonna leave the video there, or else we're gonna be here forever, because I do still have some ebooks and audiobooks to go through. So I will do a part 2 of this video. So there's gonna be quite a few books that I'm going to be hauling in January. So if you made it this far, congratulations, because this is going to be a super long video, and I really, really thank everyone who watches my videos all the way through. So when I was doing the order for Book Outlet, I accidentally double-clicked on a couple of the books. So I have extra copies of Monsterstreet The Halloweeners, The Stitchers, and One of Us Is Next. Now, One of Us Is Next is torn a little bit on the dust jacket. That's just one of the things that happens when you're getting discount books. So I am going to be doing a giveaway for these books. So if you've made it this far and you would like to enter the giveaway, it is open. Unfortunately, this one is only going to be open to Canada. In the United States, because there are 2 hardcover books here, and shipping is super, super expensive when you're talking about shipping hardcover books. So if you're within Canada or the US and you would like to win these books, I have a trivia question for you. So earlier in the haul, I showed you my little baby head, and I told you that her name was Mildred Kemp. So if you can name the movie that the character Mildred Kemp is from, leave it down below if you would like to enter the giveaway / trivia giveaway. Also make sure to like this video and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And yeah, so you guys got a little bit of a Yule gift from me as well. It'll be a little bit late, of course, because we're already into January almost. But if you would like to enter, let me know what movie Mildred Kemp is from, and you will be entered for the giveaway, and I'll do a random draw. So that's everything I have for you right now. Like I said, I'm gonna leave the rest of the books because I'm very, very tired, and I'm sure you guys are too. So I'm gonna leave the rest of the books for a separate haul. And thank you guys so much for watching. Happy New Year. I hope you all have a fantastic New Year's Day. And here's to a fantastic 2022, because we got to put all of the positivity that we can out into the universe right now so we can finally get a good year. So thank you all for watching. Please make sure to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Leave me a question or a comment down below. But until next time, stay spooky, everybody. Bye.